If you're applying for marketing specialist, growth specialist, or digital marketing specialist roles right now, you already know how tough it is. Hundreds of applications pour within the hour of a job post going live, and when you finally land the interview, it almost feels like the questions are designed to catch you off guard. I recently hired for this exact role, and today I'm going to share some of the real interview questions that I asked or had in hand, and how the strong candidates answered them so that you can walk into your next interview prepared and confident. Marketing interviews are not like generic job interviews. They are designed to test three things. Can you execute campaigns and deliver results? Second, do you understand the strategy behind the tactics? And three, can you think creatively and adapt when things don't go as planned? So when I was interviewing candidates, I wasn't just looking for textbook answers. I wanted to see how they thought about problems, how they measured success, and how they worked with their teams. I would say that's the mindset that you need to prepare for, not memorizing answers, but really showing how you think. Okay, now let's get into some of the top questions and how to answer them. I'll put the questions on the screen as well to help you follow along. First, walk me through a recent multi-channel campaign that you supported. What they're usually testing for here is execution skills and ability to contribute to a bigger team effort. How to answer this would be picking one specific campaign, outlining your role in that campaign delivery, the channels involved, and the outcome, ideally with numbers. For example, you could say, I manage the paid social component of a product launch across LinkedIn and Meta. My part drove 2,000 leads at a CPL of 20% below the target. Question 2. If a campaign underperforms, how do you troubleshoot? What they're usually testing here is your problem-solving skills, and here's how to answer it. Show a structured approach, audience, creative, channel tracking. For example, you could say, I start by checking targeting, then the click-through rate on creatives, then the tracking setup. That helps me isolate whether the issue is awareness, messaging, or measurement. Let's move on to the third question. Which KPIs do you find most meaningful for demand generation? What they're usually testing, if you can see past the vanity metrics, and how to answer it is focusing on the pipeline impact, because usually your leaders are going to want to see how you think in terms of the bottom line, not just the surface level metrics. You could, for example, say, I look at cost per SQL, conversion rates, and through the funnel, and how campaigns contribute to pipeline. Clicks and impressions matter, but they only tell part of the story. The next question, tell me about a time that you spotted a trend that others missed. What they're testing here is your curiosity and initiative. How to answer would be, I'd say, using the STAR method, the situation, task, action, result. And for example, you could say, I noticed our YouTube ads were seeing higher engagement on shorts versus long form. I suggested reallocating budget, and it improved our click-through rates by 30%. See how structured and easy flowing that answer is? Next question is, how do you bridge gaps between content and performance teams? What they're testing here is your collaboration, how you work with other stakeholders in the business, and how to answer this could be showing how you translate strategy across functions. For example, you could say, I worked with content to ensure messaging tied to performance KPIs and our ICP pain points. We agreed on CTAs early, so their work drove measurable results, not just impressions and views. Next question on my list, what's one experiment that you pushed forward that paid off? What they're testing here is initiative and willingness to experiment, and how innovative can you get with your ideas. How to answer is picking one real experiment that you can talk about. Explain what you tested, why you chose that idea, and the result. Even small wins count, like testing ad creative on LinkedIn, for example, or experimenting with subject lines. Hello from editor Elif. I just wanted to pop in and add 3 bonus questions because I just couldn't help myself. So these are some of the important questions that I would add into some of the interviews, and you can expect similar questions like this to come up in your interviews as well. Firstly, how do you stay current with changes in the demand gen landscape, or whatever landscape you are going for an interview in? So I was interested in understanding the new tools, channels, and tactics that they kind of learn about, and how they stay current about these things. Next one is obviously how and why they're attracted to this role and the company that you're applying for. Obviously, this is a very standard question, I would say. And the other one that is very important to me is that I care deeply about experimentation, innovation, creativity, and being really curious and having fun with the work. So I also ask how they bring new energy and fresh ideas into their work and where they find their information, how they come up with new ideas as well. So hope these are also helpful. So how do you get ready for interviews like this? I'd say these are some of the best practices that I would follow and recommend highly. Firstly, building star stories ahead of time. Maybe have 3 to 4 stories ready that highlight campaigns, experiments, and challenges that you solved. Second, brush up on metrics. Be ready to talk about cost per lead, SQL conversion rates, ROAS, or engagement benchmarks. Next, I would say practice showing your thinking process. Hiring managers don't just want to see the outcome, but they want to see how you actually got to that idea. And I would say the last one, don't underestimate AI tools. You can use ChatGPT to run mock interviews with you. You can refine your answers and even generate follow-up questions to practice with. So as I said earlier, use AI like your co-pilot. And finally, remember that these interviews aren't about having perfect answers. They are about showing how you think, how you collaborate, how you measure success. And also, obviously, a part of this entire thing is understanding if there is a culture fit and whether you will fit in with the rest of their team. When I hired for the role in my team, the candidates who stood out weren't the ones who knew every textbook definition. They were the ones that actually told me clear stories, backed them up with results. They were ready to talk with metrics and the specific examples that they worked on. They showed curiosity about the work and asked really good questions. If you want to go deeper than just interview questions, I've actually built a full playbook that I called Marketing Job Search OS, which is something I have used myself when I was up for promotion and looking for opportunities. It has templates, it has prompts, and a system to help you organize your job search, tailor your applications, and prepare with confidence. I'll leave the link in the description if you want to check it out. If this was helpful, please hit like so that more marketers can find it, and subscribe for more interview prep videos and career lessons that they don't teach in school. And let me know in the comments which marketing role are you interviewing for next, and I might cover in a future video. Oh, I'm thirsty. Cheers!